Welcome to CATtheMinion Patreon. My name is Theresa, but you can call me Cat. I'm doing the October Aries reading. I'm using a spread I made called Roadblock Moguls. It's $37, but I'm adding charms to it, so if you get it for yourself as is, it would be a $44 reading. So I'm using the Mystical Shaman Oracle for a wrap-up card. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot for the 3D realm, the day-to-day self. I'm using the Gilded Reverie Lenormand for the Moguls, and this pertains to the 5D, that's like your higher self. That's where the message is getting garbled and trying to get to you. And I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot here, representing the 5D squared. So if your higher self was involved with a committee of like a soul group, and you're all working on the same project, right? You're all doing the same science experiment, and you're working on a particular part of it. And this is like the group directive. This is where the message is getting mixed up coming down to you, and this is what you're picking up from what's coming down. Alright, so I'm going to start laying out the cards, and I'll keep explaining this. So I have the 3 rows for the 5D squared, that soul group committee. The moguls, those will be 3 cards there for the 5D, your higher self, and then a row of the cards for the 3D. I'm going to check the camera and adjust it after I get these laid out. But I also have 4 columns. Hands all jammed up. So the first column, oh my god, these cards. The first column is going to be Wands energy. That's the gut instinct, the sort of core of your being, the directive, the purpose, the guiding light, sort of prime directive, the master plan, and so on. Come on, cards. And the second column is emotional content, but waters can also have to deal with psychic intuition. What vibes are you picking up? And the third column is going to be swords, if I can get a card out. Alright. We saw what that was, but that's swords energy, that's thoughts and perspectives, communication. And then the fourth column is pentacles energy. It can be your physical body, it can be manifestation, it can be resources and money. Right, how's your body feeling? Alright, I have a double there and I'm going to take it. So the moguls are going to run the same way. I'm going to get 3 cards for each of these. I think it's supposed to go this way. I like to have them in a little cascade, so it looks like moguls. Come on, you bastard. Sit up straighter because I feel like I've been sitting at my table and my computer working on these readings most of the day, and I feel kind of crunched up. Spread these out a little bit. I think this might be a record. I think this is the 7th. I think this is the 7th reading for today. I think my past limit was 6. I wanted to get another one done after this, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Wow, I got some distance on that elastic. Convenient, because I wanted to come over here and get some water anyway. Okay, so we have... just need 5 more cards. Okay. I feel like I don't have enough room all of a sudden. Myself kind of crowded in here. Okay. There's no time left. 13 minutes. Okay. That's a double. There's only supposed to be 1 card there, but sometimes there are 2. I don't feel like there's 3 cards that came out, and I'm not sure which ones. Okay, apparently I got a double there also. Aries dealing with a lot of dualities. Been a hard time making up your mind, although one of the things that Aries has is Mars retrograding through it right now, so it's sort of facing itself in the mirror. So this reading is for anyone who has Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. If you're feeling that Mars retrograde in Aries energy. I don't know if there's anything else that's happening right now with the Mars or Aries energies, but that's the main deal there. I was thinking, what are the other fire signs doing? But that's not relevant for this, because this one is just for Aries. I was doing a bunch of element sign readings for YouTube. Okay, at large. And not Patreon. Okay, so where am I at? If I got everybody in there? I do. My focus is to about here. So the crack on the table is handy because I can kind of line up to it. Oh, God, okay. Alright. So in the Wands sector, this highest place directive, 5 of Pentacles. This is interesting because I think I've seen 2 other 5s inverted today in the readings I've been doing. I swear to God, I don't remember which one. It might have been Pisces. So 5 of Pentacles here, and it's coming in inverted. 5 of Pentacles. All right, this is Mercury and Taurus. So right now, we have Uranus retrograding in Taurus, which would give me this inverted energy. And Mercury is in Libra right now, which is ruled by Venus, who rules Taurus as well. Oh, I forgot to put the charms out. I'm going to do that now. Kind of landing in the middle. Anything else from the peanut gallery over here? This reading to be like 3 hours long either. Okay, that's it. Alright, so over here, I have some that are kind of out of bounds. Now the Earth, I see this. The Earth came out, slid out of the box when I was shaking it up. That's potentially the world, but also Saturn energy. So that came out of the box when I was shuffling. And the F-bomb came out when I was shuffling as well. So Aries might be a little bit pissed off at the world right now. Now here, I find this humorous. This landed on the 5 of Pentacles inverted, right? Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm coming... there's a lyric in Jane Oliver. I think it's coming from the rain. Right? Usually it's I'm coming in from the cold, but I get this idea, coming from the rain. However she sings it. So, the energy is my perception of how my material world is changing. Right? This is... I can't get anybody to help me. Throw me a fucking bone here, man. And the work that's being sent down from this collective is we need to rectify this energy of like people not helping people, of people lacking empathy, basically. Right? Consciousness, in order for consciousness to undergo this overhaul, people need to be able to be more inclusive in the world. Right? We have an ancestral trauma to overcome here. Right? It's like taking an arrow to the knee. It's in the bone. Oh. All right. So what's the information that's coming down in the 3D world here? We have the Ace of Wands. Now this is interesting. Summer energy, fire energy. It's this thing. Okay. So this was sitting there like this. It's my rowboat, and it was inverted, and it's also upside down. This energy for me, with the boat overturned, is Six of Swords. Mercury in Aquarius, inverted. Right? So this boat is telling me this energy. Mercurial energy dealing with Uranus retrograde. And it's causing this consciousness spark in the 3D. This, like Eureka, I need to go deeper. But let's see what's happening in the middle ground here with the 5D. Now I have this charm, it's reverse. Okay, so it's the Kama Sutra. The last time I got the Kama Sutra reverse in a reading like this, I said it's like I'm uncomfortable with this new position, right? We're trying to change something. I'm having a hard time figuring it out. There isn't a template for what I'm trying to achieve here. This feels weird. So we have the letter inverted. Seven of Swords energy inverted, the moon in Aquarius, alright? So here's that Uranus retrograde energy again. But now we have moon energy, but it's inverted, which is giving sun energy. And I feel like that goes back to Venus in... Why can't I think? Venus in Leo. Okay. The Empress. So here's the letter. It's number 27. Breaks down to a 9, which is the Hermit, which is Virgo, which makes sense because Virgo is a mercurial sign, and we have that energy in the reading already. So we do have to resolve inner child trauma. So here's the sarcophagus, 9 of Pentacles inverted. Venus in Virgo. Okay. So Virgo, the inner child of the Empress, and the Empress are working together. Right? The Sun was in Virgo with the Empress sitting there. And now Mercurial Virgo energy has hopped and skipped over into Libra to play in Mom's courtroom. So, we have the number 8 here, strength or justice, depending on the deck. We have this resurrecting energy. I'm healing. I'm getting over being ill. Right? 7 of Swords energy is I'm not gonna bullshit you anymore. So what's interesting is I have 7 and 9 here, and then I have 8 and 9 here. 7, 8, 9. Now, 9 of Pentacles is usually that, like, all the single ladies growing stuff in my garden, right? I haven't been able to get off my feet because I've been sick. And my information, or I had an energy drain. Right, and here's the drain right here. Sabotage. Venom. Right? Dark communication. Someone's trying to screw up your confidence. I just heard Celia. I think it's Paul Simon by himself, but I'm not sure. It might be Simon and Garfunkel. You're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Now, here we have the Queen of Wands, which is a 13, which is a transformative number. And I see 7, and I see the snake is an 8, but the 8 isn't closed. There's like a break in the chain of Fools. Okay, so Queen of Wands energy. Pisces and Aries. Okay, so Mars retrograding in its home sign of Aries. Neptune is currently retrograde. So even though this is upright, we're dealing with a retrograde energy, right? We're dealing with some kind of darker aspect. The darker aspect of the Queen of Wands is that she's isn't going to go directly off with your head like the Queen of Swords would. Queen of Wands will send you a letter, and when you open it, the ink on the paper is going to be toxic. Right? That's how the Queen of Wands will get back at you. So some of this energy, this is almost working backwards. You would think that that it would be leveled down like this. That's almost out of order. But I think that's because of the retrograde energy. The directive is almost on its head. Right? It's like, oh, okay, I'm ready to go full hog ahead and do this, but you're not going to solve the problem unless you address the letter, unless you address the methods wherein people have been put out, right? You can't sit with us. I don't like you. I'm going to embarrass and abuse and assault you. Of course this position is uncomfortable, but you can't ignore it and just say, oh, I'm going to ride with the light. Like, you are going to have to illuminate that darkness. And it starts with sort of like an anti-venom, right? Where we've taken the 7 of Swords and flipped it. So I think what's happening here is that someone is trying to avoid seeing that they have to go deeper. And they're like, ooh, look at the shiny. Shiny. Okay, so Aries wants... Oh, okay. Aries doesn't... Mars is retrograde in Aries right now. This is the Aries reading. Aries doesn't want to have to do the final ego showdown. their personal queen, right? They don't want to go through a transformative cycle with the ego. They just want to pretend that everything's hunky-dory. So this middle section is saying, no, 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 you need to be able to be uncomfortable in order to transform and actually hold on to this Ace of Wands while you go into the shadow. That's why the masculine energy is experiencing this retrograde. It's like the fall. Literally the fall. Fall of the patriarchy. You're up for revision. Alright, so let's go into the emotional content. Okay. I think this dodecahedron goes over here. And these... just spread these out a little bit. Okay. I've got some charms that are kind of... I think these go over here. Okay. That one doesn't have charms on it at all. Okay. So we're going to look at the emotional content over here. Now, interesting, I have emotions, and then what do I see but the swan? So in this deck, the swans are the court cards of cups. Okay? So we're getting an edict from the highest place of our emotional zone. And we're dealing with the earth here, or the world. Right? The emotions of the entire world are hanging in the balance. And we have, okay, so this was inverted. This is the back of the credit card. This is, to me, this is like the particular details, right? The fine print. So maybe we're not seeing the subtle nuances of something. So we have the Page of Cups. Inverted. Right? We're distracting ourselves, right? It's like moving, it's like the thing with the cups, the moving, and you're trying to follow the ball underneath it. And you keep missing the cup with the fish in it. But the energy that's coming in is that you're supposed to be resolving this, right? Just in the same way that you're resolving this Five of Cups, you're resolving this Page of Cups, right? The world needs to level up emotionally, and there's something that you're supposed to be doing to address this sort of emotional shuffle, like, oh, it's not my problem, I'm not going to deal with it, right? You need to learn to focus on the details of the emotion and not just get lost in it. Now, interestingly, in the 3D world here, what I have going the other way is the goose. These swans, angry brother. It's a very Aryan form of the swan. I mean, swans can fuck you up, but a goose is just like rage poultry. But we want what we're getting is we need to turn down the message that's coming through. It is you gotta turn down the attack mode a little bit. Right, so we have the buff kangaroo, right? Wanting to fight, knowing you need to tone it down a little bit. Like honk if you're Scottish. Right. So we have the scroll. Right, we're trying to get some information. But I also have the moon here. Alright, it's like backing down from all this fighting is going to help get this sort of information out of the darkness. And at least that part's coming through. So we have 7 of Pentacles combined with Judgment. So we have another bird here. This time it's a trash chicken. A dove. Pigeon. Okay. So I had the Kama Sutra over here. And we weren't getting through the book, right? We're not closing the chapter out yet. We have 20. Now Judgment is fire energy, right? Pluto's still retrograde until October 4th. And then I have 7 Pentacles. What's my energy? 7 of Pentacles. Saturn in Taurus. Okay. So Saturn is direct as of the end of September. And then Taurus has that Uranus retrograde pulling through it. The general meaning of this card is I'm slightly impatient for my shit to grow. Like I'm trying to manifest and it's taking longer than I thought, and I'm just kind of on it and I thought I should have had more by now. And I feel like Judgment is saying, "Oh, really? What did you think? Like you might want to reread that gardening manual. You know, like it's sort of like saying, take another look. Take another look at the scroll, right? Maybe you should go out and try gardening at night. Are you doing it in the... Did you read the almanac? Is your timing right? Or are you just trying to fight the system to get what you want when you want it now? The idea is to back off on the honky chompy chompy and take a minute and figure out why the manifestation isn't happening. But notice that all this stuff here, the only thing that's emotional at all really is the moon energy. Right? So there's resistance to emotional growth because there's this insistence on material growth. Right? I want something I can see. I don't want to deal with the feelings and the mushy stuff. It's like, what have you done for me lately? Right, I want to manifest emotional abundance. But Aries is doing it in this way of I need to fight other people for my emotional resources so that I can like have more emotional customers. I'm just going to steal them from the other company instead of making a better product. Alright, so in the middle here I have honey badger, another kind of fight kind of animal, like, oh, your snake's gonna bite me? Screw you, I'm gonna get up and keep eating you. Now I have railroad crossing, right? I'm gonna keep going. You're gonna get run over if you don't move. I also have the microphone, so this idea of like speaking up about something as well. Now the cards that are going the other way, I have the charms that are inverted. I have the dress. So this tells me I'm not addressing something. And then I have Gizmo here. Oh, is he going to fit in that? Not quite. So Gizmo, when I see him, he's my other card, like the back of the credit card, that tells me that there's details that need to be looked at. Right? It's sort of like the Seven of Swords. It's like, I'm just gonna, I'm not going to, like, Seven of Swords is like, I'm going to, like, sort of sneak and cheat and steal in some way. But here, it's like, if you're gonna be in a heap of shit if you're not paying attention to certain details. Right? Don't get him wet. Don't feed him after midnight. And don't expose him to the bright light. Bright light. I also get this feeling of, like, I don't want to get wet. I don't want to have emotions touching me. And then also I have this crystal spike here. Spire, whatever. Which is a little bit like Ace of Pentacles. Right? I'm not addressing details that have to do with this sort of, like, base clarity about manifestation. But I'm going to, like, I'm making an announcement that you better get the hell out of my way, which is causing this delay in, and this sort of having, this is like repeater lessons. Like, you're getting delayed and it's taking longer than you thought because you keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. 7 months, the same shit. The dice. Right? You gambled and you might have lost a little bit there. So 3 is the Empress, 9 is the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. So we see those, the mature and the inner child type feminine energies there. Breaks down to 12, which is the Hanged Man, which is Neptune energy, which is retrograde through November. So the Ring inverted, Ace of Wands, now inverted over here, right? Because this is like charging through, like, I'm going to set everything on fire to make it bright in here. Not really doing the work. Now here the Ring, it's sort of a, like, I'm not fully committed to doing this work. I'm just going to try and, you know, like, I want to win at crap, so I'm just going to throw the dice and the universe can give me the tilt and I won't have to do it myself. But here it's like, no, if you want to have this, you actually have to commit to doing something. 2 and 5, the High Priestess and the Hierophant. So we have technically moon energy, although I see her, the High Priestess, is Piscean. So that would give Neptune retrograde again. 5 is Hierophant energy, that's Venus, but here it's coming in inverted. Ace of Wands, summer energy, but here it's the winter of your discontent. Right? You're never going to be satisfied if you don't commit to putting in time and effort and stop just, you know, throwing down and expecting something to happen because you demand it to, because you're like, well, I'm going to go this way and get out of my way. So we have the Book inverted, right? We see the Book inverted here. We see the scroll upright here, but it's sort of like the message is coming in. If I were going to open this inverted, it would point towards this Kama Sutra. You have to learn to be in a different position than just barrel rolling through and getting whatever you want. So now we have 26, so the High Priestess energy again combined with Gemini, which is the Lovers, but also a choice and also a healing, right? You're not going to get a choice. Right? You're going to get your intuition cracked open and you're going to have to balance your shit out and heal yourself. Right? You're not going head to head with a lover, you're going head to head with yourself. And now if Mars is distorted, that's narcissistic energy. I'm in love with myself. Well, you're going to have to fight yourself and learn to love and live with yourself to get there. And what's tied to this card is the Ten of Pentacles. Right? Ends meeting like a motherfucker, but not right here. Mercury in Virgo. This is also a completion. Right? This is, I'm not going to study for my test because I'm just going to gamble that I'll fill in the multiple choice correctly. I'll just put them all C. It'll be fine. But in the reality, sort of cheating on your emotional assignment is just going to lead to this frustration with these repeater lessons, right? Until you learn the material, you're going to have to do it over again. This scroll here is sort of like Cliff's Notes, right? You're still trying to cheat a little bit. You're still trying to, I want to do it my way, right? So you're doing a little bit of studying, but you're only doing the Cliff's Notes. And you're going to get this repeating darkness until Aries deals with their own ego, which is why the Mars retrograding, that's like the main point of it. Okay. So we'll get into the thoughts and perceptions. Okay. Now, these charms look really similar. Right, I have the record player and I have Saturn. Now, Saturn came out, it wasn't flipped, right? But it was upside down. And Saturn's just come out of retrograde. And this is the idea of I need to, like, you're being called to deal with the broken record thing. Now I have the dodecahedron here. We have the number 5 and the number 12 present. Right? So we need to shift, but we also have this hanged man type of energy. And I did mention that already in association with Neptune, which was over here somewhere. Now here is this mask, right? I'm happy. I want to wear this mask over here and be Ace of Wands. But the ego showdown, the perception is, oh, this has been, a puppet show. This wasn't real. And now we're walking away from it, which is what 6 of Swords normally is walking away from the bullshit. Here, though, this same energy is I'm avoiding going deeper. So let's see what this card is. Oh, it's the Emperor, okay. So this is Aries energy itself. Mars in Aries, the Emperor, right? In order to attain this energy, the realization is no more masks, no more shirking the responsibility. Capricorn energy, having just gone direct before October starts, means you better hit that task, no more dragging your feet. Right? No more dragging your feet. You better walk, bitch. So the message... Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Okay. The message that's coming in the 3D that's coming down from this ultimate directive. So I have a paper crane. To me, this signifies that... Now, the crane is in the Lenormand. I don't know if it's in these cards, so I haven't flipped them over yet. The crane in the Lenormand is that sort of same thing every year, regularly scheduled migration and rearing of the eggs for that year and the nest building and what have you. But here it's paper, right? It's like a house of cards. Doing the same thing over and over again is not real. So that message is sort of coming down a little bit. But I also have a shield, right? I'm trying to protect myself. Now, I kind of shuffled these charms over together. I have the toilet and I have a tree. And this idea of, like, dropping a log. I know that's crass, but it's like, it's also this idea of, like, a royal flush in poker. It has to do with this gambling again. It's like, maybe I can get by with the, like, you're not going to be able to get by with the same shit. You have to achieve some growth. And this going the other way is the llama. And I get this idea of, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to pull a wool over people's eyes anymore. It also has to, like, wool, usually sheep, ram kind of stuff. But the llama is a little different. It's more of like, or possibly an alpaca, right? In order to climb the mountain, right? Like, I don't want to do it yet. I don't want to, like, I'm not stable enough to get over this hurdle yet. Like, don't make me do it. I feel like I need to be protected more. So I have the Three of Cups, right? I just want to party. Like, party. And then I have the Tower inverted. Okay. So I'm not surprised to see the Tower. This is fire energy. This is Mars energy, and it's retrograde. This is telling me that we're having a collapse and restructure that's internal, right? You're not going to be able to protect yourself from it because you're getting flushed down your own drain. The Three of Cups energy is Mercury in Cancer, so that's that moon energy that was coming in a little bit, somewhat from the High Priestess energy, but also because I had this moon charm over here. And then that mercurial energy again. Hanging out in Libra. Alright. Look at this. Root, sacral, solar. So I also get this idea that, like, this energy that's pumping down this pipeline into the thoughts and perspective. It's like the only place you're going to be partying is down in your own root, in your own, like, look at this. The Tower is a tree. I have a tree right here. Right? You have to face your root issues. And that's the only party you're going to be having. You and your ego and your inner child are all going to be having a little shindig down here at the ground zero of your personality and ego showdown perception of yourself. Come on, Lana, go back there. Okay. So in the middle, on the bridge, Terabithia. I think I read that book once. Okay, so let me look at these charms first. I have the coffee. Might be trying to wake up. We're trying to gain some balance between the dark and the light. It has to do with that, hitting that fall equinox. So we have the no symbol. And the rooster. This does give a little bit of sort of Aries energy. That, like, cock of the walk. Screaming for the dawn. The fire starts to rise out of the ground kind of energy. But also this idea of, like, the chicken crossing the road. Like this guy over here. Or maybe, you know, I'm going to strut around and make a lot of noise. You know, so you, like, you're going to hear me coming. I'm going to be fancy about it. Perhaps. And I feel like this is like, no, you need to cut that shit out in order to have balance. Just come in as, you know, just come in as a man. Right? Because Martian energy is masculine. Don't try to be all fancy about it. Just kind of be there. Like, be a person. Be a, like, wake up to and smell the coffee of you know, balancing it out, right? So we have the light with the dark spot in it, which is, I did that on purpose. And then going the other way, we have the third eye, right? It's like I'm resisting the download in some way. Like I don't want to be just a person. I want to be like the king of the chicken yard, kind of. Alright. So we have the scythe. So here's the number 10 again. And we have a Jack of Pentacles. So that could be a page or a knight. Spring energy or Leo in Virgo. I think this is probably the knight because it's Leo and Virgo energy there. Which makes sense. Virgo, Mercury, Leo with Venus sitting right in it. I'm gonna have to read that because I don't remember what it's doing. Scythe. Okay. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the sun. Now that's from Ecclesiastes, according to this thing, obviously, because I knew that came from the Bible, but there's a song by the Byrds. Well, the Byrds sang it. I think Bob Dylan wrote it. That's based on that thing, right? There's a season, turn, turn, turn. So that does have to do with the idea of the fall and this idea of the equinox of equivalent between the light and the dark. This could be that basic bitch pumpkin spice coffee. Goes right to the hips. Where am I going? Okay. So this card can be quite negative. Cutting through with precision, a sharp and clear vision, accident, deep cut, a break, sometimes a difficult decision that needs to be made. I can bring good harvest or danger. So look what I am cutting nearby. It might just be your wage. Okay. In the world of Lenormand, it symbolizes a sudden trauma or shock that will take you by surprise, all right? So this shock is coming in as a tower, right, because of the resistance. But it's this idea of you don't have time to dick around anymore. This is the time when you're going to be balancing your light side and your dark side, your ego and your core self. Flowers inverted. So Queen of Swords inverted with a 9 inverted. Virgo energy. And then the Queen of Swords, Virgo again, and Libra. Mercurial energy in, okay. So those are the same energies that we've been getting already. And again, I have a tower with an inverted tree. I have flowers inverted. It's like my flowers aren't growing. Did I weed? Like, when I weeded them, did I cut the wrong stuff? Like, what's going on? And we have masks inverted. Now, I already had a mask over here, right? This is a mask. This isn't real. And the ego is being yanked off like a band. We're not going to sweeten this up for you. It's time to cut off the Band-Aid. No more masks, no more dicking around. Notice this is number 40, right? It carries the 0 of the Fool and the Emperor, number 4. No more masks. No more fakeness. You know, it's like you're being cut off from... It's like you're no more line of credit. You have to work for your stuff. You can't dress like... you know, you can't dress like you own 4 yachts when you're emotionally not even up to being a page. right? You're trying to, there's, okay. I don't mean this to sound like Aries is, like, I'm not saying that people who are in the Aries energy are experiencing this ego showdown with the Mars retrograde in Aries. I'm not saying that you're like a piece of shit or anything. This is something that's a societal issue that comes down into each person individually, right? We're dealing with a distorted patriarchy. And this particular Mars retrograde in Aries is saying everyone is sort of doing their own little piece of it, right? We're taking this collective group and we're saying, okay, you're taking this piece of the puzzle to solve. All right, so you only have to work on your own little bit of it, which is to say your own internal inner child, your own internal ego. And you know, whether your ego is one of lack or one of being better than everyone or one of I don't have any feelings, what are you talking about? You know, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. It's like, well, if you stop, you know, throwing down this ego and say, well, I'm just a person. I have my good days and my bad days. It'll help open up this third eye and get into this flow, right? There's the energy that's coming through here, and this perception is a phrase that I read in a book that I tried to remember because I thought it was hilarious. It's, and I'm probably not going to pronounce it very well, but it's El pet pluo qu'elle le cool, and it means she farts higher than her asshole. And it was hysterically funny to me, right? And that's what the ego does. Or if your ego is of lack, you're like, oh, I'm so far below my own ass, I can't even hit the toilet when I take a shit. So that's what's trying to be resolved here, right? It's saying whatever perception you have of yourself, you don't get to have it anymore. And for someone down here in the 3D world, it's like, I thought I was protecting myself, but now I'm having a party down here in the basement of the tower, and I feel like I've just been trapped in an avalanche. Like, what's going on here? Like, what? And it's just sort of like collapse into yourself and this like forced work to overcome the ego. But the middle step here is saying, well, in order for you to get the message, we had to rip off the Band-Aid. And now you're just like, what? Okay. So in the physical, in the Pentacles energy here, we have 5 of Wands, not surprised to see that, and the Magician. Okay. Mercury energy. Here's coming in inverted. I have an infinity symbol here, right? Complete. Although the snake here, infinity symbol, not complete. 5 of Wands, Capricorn. No, Saturn in Leo. Jesus Christ. Okay. Saturn in Leo. This mercurial energy is trying to interact with Venus sitting in Leo. Capricorn energy is that taskmaster. It just got back on its feet. And it's like, all right, we're ready to go. This is saying you're not going to be able to resolve your conflict with other people by just like waving a magic wand and being like, aha, I'm right. You know, it's like smoke bomb. And and run away like Krieger in Archer. You know, you're not going to be able to... It's like you have to be able to overcome and shift this energy without using any tricks. Right? You don't get to do the song and dance and the mask and the rolling of the dice and the, you know, stealing of the things and the stabbing people with the poison darts and all that stuff. You have to come in and shift the energy of the conflict without cheating, basically. And that could be within yourself. It doesn't really matter. So down over here in the 3D, 4 of Cups. Okay, so here's some emotional content. I don't like it. Alright, I think I'm starting to get it, right? Now the 4 of Cups is usually the kid sitting on the tree and he's got 3 cups he doesn't like and the cosmic hand is like, here you are. And they're like, nah, that's probably going to suck just as much as these other one. Now here these 4 cups are all full of like rat shit. And you're like, damn, these cups really, they're terrible. With this inverted, 4 of Cups is the moon in Cancer, right? So we have the moon card, and now it's inverted. So we're getting illumination, the sun energy, this sort of a little bit of emotional warmth, right? The dawn breaking on a new day. And what's happening in the physical body is that there's this sort of like a well of emotion starting to creep in, like just like into the body itself, whether Aries is trying to resist it or not. So now going the other way, I have the Ankh. And I feel like this has to do with possibly removing ancestral trauma or past life trauma. Right? Because the poison cups could be trauma as well. But then also I have this club here. Now this could be related to this card up here, right? Ooh, fight time. It's on now, biatches. This is also my alternate Ace of Wands. So it's almost like getting the same message, right? Well, I don't want 5 wands again. I just want the 1. And I feel like this 4 of Cups with the wand here is answering this 5 up here. The Ankh is kind of referencing the Magician. You know, like, we're going to leave all these egoic trauma shielding patterns in the past, whether it's a DNA thing or my own past lives or just my life up to this point, and I'm going to start to get a little bit of warmth in my heart center in my body, and I'm going to take this club that I used to fight with and I want to light it on fire. I want that core illumination. Alright, so let's see what the break is here. What's this? Oh, here's the pyramid. So this goes with the Ankh and with the scroll, right? We're going to leave the past in the past, right? I learned what I can from it, and it's going to stay in the past where it goes. That's what we're trying to do. Now here I have these holly berries. To me, this is like Christmas. And Christmas represents the time, it's like a little bit after the winter solstice, when the sun starts to come back up out of the darkness, right? The days begin to get longer again. It's also the number 27. 25, which breaks down to a 7, right? It's the High Priestess and the Hierophant, like, smushing together to give that chariot energy of propulsion forward. Which is, we see the sun cresting over the darkness of the emotional territory. There's some illumination ready to be available. It doesn't mean that this is going to be, a scenario that's happening till the end of the year, but I think the next major movement of Mars is like in December, so that might be relevant to that, but it doesn't, it just means in like metaphorically illuminating after being in the darkness where the tower comes in. So we have the magnifying glass. This is 44. So we see that 4 times 11, right? Time to deal with this energy of the Emperor. And I do see the Fool here, which is like this Masks card, the 40. But here it's another card, like with Gizmo and the back of the credit card, we're looking at the finer details of something, right? This breaks down to 8, which is strength or justice. So 11, justice possibly, or 8, strength. Both feeding into this 44, this duality number of when I look closer at things, I'm starting to see what's real and what's not, what's right and what's wrong, what's part of my core and what's not. And there's the mountain. Now I did say oh yeah, I was talking about the llama and the mountain. And here is like, I'm going to get over it. Instead of a llama here, there's a deer though. And I see these antlers and that tells me some crown activation. I also have 8 of Wands here, which is rapid movement or communication. Mercury and Sagittarius. Okay. This is like an obstacle. Alright, and it's almost like saying, I get this idea of like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Right? I really need the magnifying glass to see it, but in my head, this going through this ego healing is like I can't go that far. Notice we have 4 and 4 here, and then we have 2 and 1, breaking down to 3, right? The Emperor, the High Priestess, the Magician, breaking down to 3, the Empress, breaking down to 8, strength or justice, which feeds back into the Empress and Emperor and Sun energies. So then we have this birch with the number 11 on it directly, with a Jack of Wands. Now if this was the Knight, it would be Scorpionic energy, Scorpio and Sagittarius, which might be true, but I feel like it's more the page, because I have the page here, and I had maybe a page down here somewhere, and then I have another page, right? And I had this idea of reading, right? I'm turning the pages, I'm trying to find the information. This is more of like it's going to bite you on the ass, but let me read this. Read it. The birch or the broom. Be warned of high temper, I bring conflict and strife. You'll find me in competitions because I work with repetition. Now I did mention that repetitive stuff with both the record and with the crane here. Arguments and quarrels are my patent, but I am not always the villain. When the birch comes, frenzy will be whipped up, creating discord, and a person will be quick to anger. Trouble, strife, disharmony, conflict, argument, all things stressful. In its most positive sense, we have here a card calling us to bring our forces and attention together, to get focused, and to get all our ducks in a row. Okay. So to me, this is a little bit of that Capricornian energy, that sort of taskmaster. It's like, you know, if you would quit dicking around, you'd realize that this is a lot easier than you think, right? Once you realize the size of the mountain by examining the maps, you're going to get through that real quickly. But this sort of resistance, right? The 4 resisting the 11 is what's been causing delays here. And also, the pyramid is a representation of the mountain. It's not as big as you think. Okay, so let's see what this card is down here. Alright, so I have the Tesla coils. This is sort of Aquarian energy for me, so I'm getting a little bit of Uranus retrograde, and also a little bit of like electric shock, and like listen to what's going on here. And this is kind of like a Six of Cups energy. Right, this is sort of like a charitable handout. But it's also giving me this idea of, you know, I wasn't getting what I wanted. I got nothing. Nobody gave me anything. Right, but where there's an electrical force that's changing this energy. The smoky mirror. Wow, I'm not surprised to see this, because essentially the ego showdown is looking in the mirror. And smoky means that we're in the dark, or also that it's we're struggling to see something. And what's interesting is we have this meditating Buddha or Bodhisattva there. And the number 4, the Emperor number again, that's Aries energy. And then 7, Chariot, is the moon energy. Together breaking down to this 11, that universal timing, but also that duality and or twin flame number. So I'm not that familiar with that card, so let me read that. Smoky mirror. Okay. It represents the aspects of what's implied yet cannot be immediately known in the world. The mystery of how things come together and how they fall apart without obvious causality. The symbol represents the shadow of the human psyche, the parts of the self that one disowns, right? That's that conflict between Aries and their ego. The smoky mirror can also represent a state of denial or the inability or refusal to see the truth. And we see that as a theme throughout, especially in this midsection here. When the symbol of the smoky mirror appears, you're invited to see beyond your own self. Acknowledge that past the limits of your current ability to perceive, there's a vast interconnected world where events are orchestrated in divine order. That's all those number 11s, but challenging to fully grasp. Now is the time to trust that no matter what the current conditions of your world reflect, in the hidden realms, all aspects of the human journey are celebrated. The beauty and the darkness, the misery and the courage. No matter where you are on your journey, know that some things are meant to be a mystery, which you are meant to understand only through experience. Take heart, for the smoky mirror will ultimately show you beauty and wonder once the fog lifts the distortion you see now. Okay? So I feel like this smoky haze here, this purple haze, is sort of the what is it, the something of the day, what is it, the whatever, anyway, it's sort of the status quo while Mars is retrograding. This idea that confusion is setting you apart from what you've known before, and that while you heal this inner conflict and start to gain access to different modes of feeling and thinking and behaving or communicating or interacting with other people, that you're realizing that you're not going to necessarily beat yourself up for how you've been in the past, because it's all part of this dark and light journey. Alright, so I'm getting nauseous, so I think that means this reading is over. Alright, so the reading itself, pretty like, rah. But the smoky mirror is sort of like a fresh breeze, despite being smoky. Okay, it's like a pat on the back, a little bit of encouragement. It's the cookie after completing the task. You know, it's like, although cookies are the gateway to the dark side, but in order to attain this light, you do have to get into the darkness, so that follows as well. If you want to get a personal reading, you can hit me up there. Let me try to get this down a little bit. There, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. Is that? Hopefully that's focused. I'm getting dizzy, so I can't really tell. Nope. Nope. I'm having problems because my tripod is like losing tension. Okay. You're gonna hit me up there, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. It's still not fucking. Okay, there we go. I have a complete list of readings and how much they cost in the description box of my infomercial video. I'm going to try and link that in little comments below this post here. If you want to help contribute to my stuff, you can always level up on Patreon until you hit the 3rd level there. But you can always hit the tip jar, paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. I got prints and merch and coloring books and other stuff too. So that the list and the links and all that are together, and you can just email me too, and I'll get that to you. If you're not already subscribed on Open YouTube, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, comment, check out the playlist tab, the discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.